Right, guys. Okay. Today's question: how do you pass the New York State inspection? All right. Now, mind you, this goes for most states that do admission inspection. Some vary, but you know the major states like New York, California, um, New Jersey, DC. Off the top of my head, I'm guessing pretty much follow the same verdict, the same protocol. All right, so basically, what do you need to pass inspection? Well, inspection is broken up into two parts. You have your safety inspection, and you have your admission. So let's go to the safety real quick. I got like a little old checklist from years ago, but it's still still pretty much the same thing. So these are stuff that they're gonna check for your inspection. Okay. We can go down them. VIN number. You have to remove the old sticker when you come. A lot of shops don't do that anymore, but they're supposed to. Okay. We don't really do a brake equalization test anymore, but we are supposed to be checking for brake pedal reserves, how high your brake pad is, your parking brake, steering wheel play. That's like your front end. Your tie rods, your how loose they are. Okay. If your axles are, stuff of that nature. We got to make sure that check engine light is on, the OB and ML indicator. Okay. Make sure that bulb is in, because sometimes when people sell you cars, they take the light out and say, yes, the car's great, man, don't worry about it, just drive. But it's not. We're gonna check your horn, your indicators, left and right directional indicators, your windshield for cracks. I think the rule is if you have a crack in your windshield that's longer than a finger, no good. Okay. Your windows. For a lot of states now, including New York, windows also include tints. There's a tint test. And if you are over 70%, under 70%, excuse me, you're gonna fail. You're gonna have to remove those tints. For certain vehicles, it's different. Like for Jeeps, you can have tints in the back windows, but on most cars, those two front windows cannot be tinted over 70%. And that was kind of the city's response to the police officers that were getting shot. This is a law they tried to put in for years, but it came to a head when I think like 2 police officers got shot approaching a car. And another story for another day. Your seatbelts have to work. Yes, seatbelts have to work. Click, click. Your windshield wipers, they have to have at least some rubber on them. Okay. Master cylinder, basically the brake has to be functional. You can't press the brake and the and the pedal goes all the way to the floor. Okay. I'm gonna power steering. You guys understand that? That's basically your steering. The high mount stop lamp. Okay. A lot of people don't get this. That little lamp on top of your brake in the rear in the windshield in the back, that has to work as well. Okay. Your headlights, that high beam, low beam, those have to work. All the lights on the car, all the lenses. Can't have no cracked lenses or lights. Okay. You gotta have a gas cap. What do we have here? Wheel pull. Oh, okay. So in New York State, we have to pull off at least one of the tires. Make sure, inspect that the wheel can come off. Number one, if the brakes are good, if there's any issues with the brake lines, shocks, axles, anything of that nature. Okay. Your brake lining and your drum linings. Obviously, if your brake pads are low, you're gonna fail. Tie rods, as I said earlier, idle arm, anything doing the front end. Shocks, if your shocks are broken or springs are missing. Your torsion bar. Chassis, if you have, a lot of people don't notice, but if your chassis is rotten or cracking or dangerous, That's a failure. There's nothing you can do about that, I guess. Maybe some welding. Your brake lines, hoses and cables, definitely can't have those leaking. That's a failure. Your tires, okay? They're gonna check for your tire depth. So if your tires look like a race car driver, you failed. Boom. One of the most important things, the catalytic converter. Catalytic converter has to be connected. First of all, there has to be a catalytic converter on the car for all you race car guys. You watch one of these Need for Speed movies and all of a sudden you figure you don't need a catalytic converter. You're gonna fail. Simple as that. And the cat cannot be rattling, it can't be making noise. As a matter of fact, your exhaust itself cannot necessarily be leaking. EGR valve, exhaust gas recirculation valve, that has to be on the car and working. Okay, very important system. Air injection, that has to work. Your EVAP system. EVAP system is the evaporator system, basically, that has to do with the leaking of emission gas through your gas tank. Okay, basically you can't just pump gas fumes into the air. It has to be purged through like a charcoal canister, and all the impurities have to be taken out before it's let into the environment. That has to work. Okay, yes, you're gonna fail if your license plate light is out. Okay, so try to fix that stuff first. All right, so that's basically the most important things for your safety part of the inspection. The second part of the inspection is going to be the beautiful admission, where we're going to hook up this machine to your car, and it's going to check your onboard diagnostics. Okay, so it's your job to don't do nothing stupid like go to AutoZone and reset the check engine light, because you're going to fail. Because you're a smart guy, okay? You figure, okay, if the check engine light's not on, I'm going to pass. No, you're going to fail. All right, that has to be in working order. And if the check engine light is on, it's actually cheaper to fail the inspection instead of paying for a good diagnostic. Now, you might go to AutoZone, they might give you a fake diagnostic, but that can't really help you. Usually, if you go to a mechanic and you fail the inspection, it's $37. It's not a big deal. And, they're usually going to tell you what you need to do to fix the code problem that you have. So let's say you have a code and it's a P301 code, okay, which is like a engine misfire, okay? You might tell you, man, listen, you need a coil for cylinder number 1, okay? You change that coil, you go and drive the car, call it a drive monitor. You're gonna set the monitors over, which involves you probably going on a highway for a little bit and driving the car so the car could check itself. And at that time, you could bring it back and get the car inspected, and you'll be good to go. So emission is pretty, nothing you can do. If the check engine light's on, you got to fix it. And not only do you have to fix, you have to drive the car too. Okay. So if I was you, wherever you get your car inspected, make them fix the problem, because it just saves you time and money, because you may fix the car and have to drive it. And then you drive the car and you come back and it fails again because you didn't drive it enough and you didn't set all the monitors. Okay. And what monitors are, to put it simply, it's like your car's own recheck, where it checks its own systems to make sure that it's fixed. And what's the use of fixing the problem and not knowing that it's fixed? So if you can, find a shop that you trust and make them fix the issue. If you have a check engine light on, it's going to cost you less than you trying to trick the system. Trust me, I've seen a lot of people try different things to get the inspection through, spend all kinds of money fixing the wrong things, and they end up spending a lot more than they had to spend. Okay, I had a customer the other day that had a code for a lien code, and he went to four mechanics, and and spent maybe close to $500 changing valve cover gaskets and remember, every time he fixed something, he had to inspect the car and it failed. And come to find out, it was a $3 vacuum hose. So you got to pick your battles, man. Okay, but that's where it is, man. If you guys have any questions, please hit me up. I know most of the regulations for most states You know, there are some states like Michigan where you don't have to do any inspection at all. And you also have states like Alabama, I think even certain states in the South where the inspection is basically you going to the courthouse and saying I'm here, and they check your VIN number, and that's the beautiful red states. Okay, and then even in Alaska, they don't do inspection. Okay, maybe for your caribous, but you know. All right, guys. Any more questions about inspection? Stop pouring those stuff in your gas tank that said you're going to pass inspection. They don't work. Okay, they may give you a little bit more octane, but that's as far as it goes. Okay, but yeah, any questions? Hit me up. All right, guys. Take it easy.